Delta's starting to really turn on. You know, everyone's kind of coming out here, starting to catch some fish. They're shallow, way up tight, a lot of bucks. We just pulled up on one of our buddies who had like a 7-pounder, so they're moving up. It's getting good. So if you guys really want to come out here and get on some fish, higher tide and later in the day if you can. Once that fog breaks at about 11 o'clock, it has been so foggy. Once that fog breaks, man, that sun hits that water and it feels like it's 70 degrees. I think it's gonna be a good year. You know, every year we always say that, right? It's gonna be a good year, but this year's really shaping up. I'm gonna be guiding out here a bunch the next 2 months, so give me a call.
All right, let's go fishing.
The river's in great shape and the fishing has been getting more and more consistent on an inconsistent basis. This week it's going to be all about the weather fronts that come in, and that's going to determine our success or failure. So with that, let's take a look at a few pictures, then we'll get right into the report. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. You're watching In Deep on the Delta. This is the weekly fishing report for February 12th. And I'm working in between storm fronts here. It looks nice right now. We're supposed to get a lot of rain coming in here this afternoon. So I'm going to be working quickly and getting you all the information that you need to have, and hopefully getting a couple hours of fishing before the rain comes in. So with that, let's start with some news. We have the Real Custom Boat Works annual Coast Guard vessel inspection. That's coming up Sunday, March 29th out at Paradise Point. It's a free inspection. If you want any information on that, call Jim Horton out at Real Custom Boat Works at 209-915-9880. We also have an early reminder here for the Clear Lake Channel Cat Classic. This is coming up. It's a catfish derby, Clear Lake, April 25th and 26th, guaranteed $8,000 first prize. I'm going to have Richard Moody from, Richard is the tournament director, and I'm going to have Richard on from Pandemic Fishing. He'll give you all the information on this that you need, but if you want to take a look at their website, just go to channelcats.com and that'll give you all the information that you need. So let's get into our reports. We'll start off with Clear Lake. I talked to Dave from Clear Lake Outdoors, and he's reporting that this week's been a little inconsistent depending on weather fronts, and they are expecting some fronts to come in and out in the next week. So again, Clear Lake is going to be depending on what happens with all of these weather fronts that come in next week. Local tournament still producing over 30 pounds, but it's been tougher. Lots of bait. You got to follow that bait, and it's all shad. It all, you know, the bite revolves around finding the bait and then, you know, hitting a bite window when the fish in whatever area you're in tend to be on the bite. The number one technique up there is still hover strolling minnows, forward-facing sonar. If you don't have forward-facing sonar, you want to cover a lot of water with A-rigs, jerk baits, underspins. You can always call Dave up there at Clear Lake Outdoors. I've got his information in the remarks. And one thing that I want to mention is for you guys that are going up and, you know, you're hearing about all these 30-pound bags and 100-pound 3-day limits and so on and so forth, and you're going out and having trouble, especially the tournament guys that want to increase your weights. One thing you can do is hire one of the great guides up at Clear Lake, and there's a lot of them. I'm not going to go over all of the guides up there, but they do work out of Clear Lake Outdoors. You can call Dave up there, tell him what your situation is. Maybe you're a tournament angler, you're needing to get bigger fish. Maybe you're a guy that's just going up on the weekends. You want to catch more fish, but you want to have a chance to get a bigger fish. Dave will set you up with the guide that he feels is most in line with your needs. So if you're looking for a good guide, and especially Clear Lake, you guys that are trying to get better at forward-facing sonar, you go up with a guy like John Pearl or someone, you're going to increase your knowledge probably in one day, which you can do for you know, several years. But anyhow, hit Dave up, ask him about some of the guides that they have working out of the shop. Now, I didn't get a hold of Aaron Jones from up or down in at Don Pedro, but if you need to call Aaron, if you're going down there, give Aaron a call at Central Valley Bait and Tackle. His number is 209-312-9417, and he'll get you caught up on all the up-to-date local information for Don Pedro. With that, let's get into the Delta, and I'm sure that's what everybody is really looking at now. Things are starting to pop up here. Water temperature still in the mid-50s. Visibility is 3 to 5 here in the central. I talked to Rob earlier, but I didn't ask him what the south will look like and Frank's track, but it's probably a little less viz out there. But what I have been noticing, we're getting that nice greener color water, kind of summertime water, and everything is looking really good here. Everything's stable. We've been having, not much of a incoming tide, but the outgoing tide is what everyone's been focusing on. That high switch from high to outgoing is when mostly everyone that I've talked to has been catching fish on. Stripers, not a lot of reports. I can't give you, with the few reports coming in, there's just not a lot of interest. So the only thing that I can say is there has been reports from folks out west, Liberty. They're catching some nice fish out there. I know there's people that are going out, local. I talked to Bill this morning out at Paradise Point. He's saying that he hasn't seen as many stripers come in the last couple weeks or in the last week or so, but we know they're still out here. The sea lions are still out here. We just got to get a few more people out there fishing for the stripers. With that, let's get right into the largemouth bass. I know that's what everybody's looking for now, and we'll start off with the bass hole tournament results from last week. They had 41 boats. The pro side was won by Dan Font and John Clark with 26 pounds, 26.14 pounds. Second place was 22.5. After that, it dropped down to 15.9, and some more average weights came in. The average weight on the pro side around midfield was about 10 pounds per team. Now the am side was won by Ron Rivers and Roy Ossie. I hope I spelled or pronounced your name, Roy, properly. First place was 15.4, second place was 15, third place was 14, and mid-pack for the am side was about 8 pounds. There were very few people that did not weigh in, and that's what we're looking for. People going out and being consistent. The upper weights, the 26-pound weight, don't think you're going to get that weight. 15 pounds is more of a realistic idea of what you can come out and do on the Delta right now. But that was the weights for the Bass Hole Team Tournament. And Rob said basically, the number one technique that he heard from most of the participants was throwing worms and plastics. After that, everyone, was basically junk fishing. They're throwing everything from blades to chatterbaits to jerk baits, flipping, all over the board. So with that, let's get into what I've been seeing out here. And I've talked to Rob. I've been out with Christian Ostrander. I've talked with Christian. I've talked with Joey Price from Priceless Fishing, and it is, in line exactly with what I have been seeing out here and what I have been hearing from the people at the dock when I'm coming back in. And I've been out about 3 times this week. I've been able to have more consistent fishing, but the bite windows are very tight. 15 minutes to about a half an hour, and that is right after the high tide as soon as it starts moving. And right now, as you can see behind me, I'm out here at high tide, dead right now. Hopefully I'm going to be done with this program or this video in about just a few minutes, and as that tide starts moving out, I know that I have maybe about an hour to really do some damage. That's when everybody's been catching their fish. After that high switch and the tide starts moving, it gets real tough out here. I can tell you that for me, it has been all plastic worms. I can't get bit on chatterbaits. I have not thrown jerk baits this week. I have heard a few people getting fish on jerk baits. But boy, for me, I can't get a reaction bite out here for nothing. So I am sticking to my guns. And I can also tell you that, let me show you one of the baits that I've been using. And I am using a spinning rod, and I've dropped down to about 8 foot of fluorocarbon leader. This is the worm that I've been using, a little cut tail worm, and I have a punch skirt on the front of it, and I'm using this BKK hook that has I don't know, I might have an 1/8 ounce of weight in there, just enough to get it down and pop it out there and fish it right along the bottom. You can fish an unweighted 5-inch Cinco, 6-inch Cinco. Dark colors have been working best for me. Black with red flake, green pumpkin still working, June bug, but darker colors and fishing them slowly along the bottom. And again, my best tactic has been just a inline hook with a weightless 5-inch worm. Robo worms have also been working. Black and red has been a good color. Let me show you what I'm doing here in case you guys are wondering. I've got just a straight inline hook, nothing, no weight, no nothing. I've got a 5-inch Cinco right in there, pulling it up here. Pretty darn simple, and I'm making sure that it's totally weedless. Just throwing it out and just inching it along the bottom and waiting for that bite. You have to continually weigh your bait, feel that bait. If it's not there, or if it feels a little heavy, you better set the hook, because the fish aren't really coming up and hitting it really hard. So with that, that's my story for this week. We have rain coming in. Some storm fronts coming in for the next week or 10 days. And you know, I talked to Rob about this. Rob feels the same as I do. These storm fronts are not going to be good for the consistency of the fishing, but for those of us, or for those of you who are coming out and you know, want to deal with, you know, fishing in between the storms or through the storms in general, there is going to be some short bite windows that probably produce some very good fishing. So if that's your thing, you don't mind getting wet, you want to come out here and really grind it out looking for those bite windows, come on out. The river's in good shape. These fish are starting to move. Things are happening, but it's not the time to take off work just yet. So with that, I want to thank you guys for watching. Things are getting better, and it's getting more and more easy for me to come out here and talk about the fishing, because I think if you guys come out, you're going to catch a few fish out here. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys out here. Be safe, and remember, there's a lot of fog out here in the morning, so slow down and watch out for everybody else out here. See you guys on the river.